good evening to everybody. This is 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 22nd of September 2021. This is Christopher Duigan coming to you from my home in KwaZulu-Natal with the next in our Music Revival online live stream series. Very much hoping that you can stay with us for the next hour, 60 minutes or 70 minutes actually, when I'll be playing some music for you, and I hope that you find this music uplifting, energizing, start of new beginnings, start of new ideas. This is Piano Hour, and this is our Mozaic program, which usually focuses on a number of short and sometimes not so well-known excerpts and little pieces of music. This evening I am going to follow a certain theme, which is going to be quite interesting, I hope. I am going to play groups of pieces in threes, one of which might be quite well known, but this relates then to two others which might not be so well known. And of course, as usual with these Mozaic programs, I'm only going to tell you about them afterwards and only tell you and introduce or back announce the pieces once I've finished the set. And